All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to be comparing a bunch of different handheld blowers. This is the drill style kind. I call it the drill because it's like a handheld drill with the battery on the bottom. And we will go through the whole list of things. We'll talk about price, features, performance, and noise level to see which one may be the best fit for you. So with all that said, which ones are we comparing here, guys? Obviously, like I said, the Ryobi unit right here. This one is number one. Number two is going to be the Vortex House. They state that they're kind of the original. There's a lot of other ones that look like this, but they state that they're the original, I believe. So excited to be sharing this one with you guys as well. Then we've got the Adams little mini, I think they call it the mini air blower cannon. I can't remember the exact name, but I'm gonna link all these in the description for you guys so you can find them easily. This one has actually gone down in price since they released it. So great option there. And then finally, number four that we're gonna be talking about is this guy here, brand new unit that just was released from MaxShine. So we're gonna talk about all four of these units. Like I said, compare price, performance, noise level, and the features. So let's get into this right now. So I think first things first, what a lot of people care about is pricing, right? So we're gonna go through the price list on these. Now, the Ryobi has been, I think when it first came out, unit only with no battery, I think it was $99. Sometimes it was on sale. I got people saying that they bought it for $79. Incredible, incredible value. Again, like many things in the world today, things have gone up in price. This guy now is coming in at a price tag, current listing of $109 for unit only, or $149 with a 4 amp hour battery. And next up, let's go ahead and talk about the Adams unit, because this one has changed in price as well since it first released, but it went the other way. It got cheaper. So when this thing first released, it was coming in at a price tag of $299.99. That was the unit, that was the battery pack, and a charger, and it was a nice charger. Now this thing also came with a couple other features. Again, we'll talk about that here shortly, but this currently is no longer $299.99. It is now down to $229.99. So I think the value has definitely increased substantially for this unit. Next up, we're going to the Vortex House, which has some incredible features, like I said, where you can run it with different battery systems. So if you don't need to buy a full kit with battery, this becomes a much more valuable play. If you already have, if you're part of either DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Makita battery systems, this will work with all those depending on which one you order. Pricing on this guy is a little bit different. So it's unit only, and it comes in at a price of $199, but it's discounted. If you buy two, it drops in price. If you buy three, the price per unit drops even more. So that is that one. And last but not least is the newest one here. This just released from MaxShine, and this one's coming in at a price tag of $249.99. And again, this comes with a nozzle accessory, a battery, and the battery charger, just like the Adams does, but at $249.99. Okay, now let's move on to the accessories that these come with, because everything's a little bit different. Well, mostly. These two are the most similar, the Adams and the MaxShine, okay? They both come in extremely nice packaging. Here's the one for the MaxShine. Super nice, magnetic closure, all foam insulated inside. Really, really nice, right? Does that matter? No, right? We care about the performance, right? But I will state that the MaxShine comes with this guy here. It's probably, I don't know, a 4-inch nozzle. And the really cool feature is it's magnetic right onto the front. So very, very nice. They don't blow off. I haven't had any issues with them. Obviously, if you hit it from the side, it will pop off easily, but they've been absolutely great. I like this one a lot. The one benefit of this one is that it is basically the same exact size as the normal opening. So you don't lose any performance or anything like that. And again, this one comes with the unit itself, one nozzle option, and the battery and the charger. Now, alternatively, when we go to the Adams one, it actually came with extra pieces. So you got the unit itself, the battery, the charger, but you got two different types of nozzles that went on this. Same thing, it's magnetic. I bet this MaxShine one will fit on here. Yeah, good to go. So on this one though, one of them was a reducer, and I tested that. I thought that should be in my head. I was like, okay, that's gonna narrow down the fan. It should increase the miles per hour coming out more. But however, for me, I saw a loss in performance, and it made it a little bit louder. So I never used it that way. And even this MaxShine one, I'm probably just gonna use it this way anyway, over the time that I use this. But still, just wanted to bring that to your attention on those two. The Vortex House is the most simple. It comes in a box. This is what you get, okay? This is what you get. It's a nice little unit. I like it a lot. Now, all of these, I think all of these, yeah, looks like all of them utilize a plastic fan in the back with just a little guard. Now, if you do have long hair or your kids or whatever grab this thing and they're not being careful, long hair could get sucked into it and get caught in the fan blade. So just be careful. They all have protective pieces on the back, right? So little fan covers, but I think it still could happen. And that's really where the Ryobi really outshines all of them, because same kind of thing. But if you look in there, the fan is all the way up here. All the way up here. So the suction is not as crazy. So that is the benefit of the Ryobi for sure. But back to the Vortex Sauce, like I said, you get this. Now on their website, you can order which one you want the battery adapter to be for. So it's just built in. It either works with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Makita. And real quick, just to go back, the batteries that come on the Atoms and the MaxShine are, so Makita batteries, like open sources their whole platform for their battery system. So you can use Makita batteries on these as well. But if you're someone like me that has a ton of Milwaukee batteries, I actually have a ton of DeWalt batteries as well, and you don't want to buy a whole system because you're like, I don't really need the batteries, this could be a really, really good choice. Now, last but not least, the Ryobi. Now, again, you can buy it tool only or with the battery, right? Let's just talk about tool only, because the accessories for the actual head of the unit are going to be the same. And you do get, this is the only one out of all of these that has a rubberized tip. Now, why is that important? For me, personally, you're working on a car, if you accidentally, and obviously it's not in your intention, but if you accidentally get close and tap the paint, this is a rubberized sleeve, it's gonna bend, not a big deal. Versus all these ones are a hard plastic, could potentially cause more damage, right? So safety feature, the Ryobi is really killing it there. This is really nice. Additionally though, you get this little piece here, right? Just goes on, or you also get an extension, and then this can go on the top of that as well, I believe, if I remember correctly. And so if you're blowing leaves or whatever else around your house, it's nice to have that extra extension just so you get closer to them. These still perform insanely well even without that, but I think that's a cool feature to have. All right, now before we get into the performance, which I test by putting a bucket on a scale and pointing this into the bucket and capturing how much pressure is being forced into the bucket from this, right, or from the blowers. I have a little wind speed gauge, but it maxes out at a certain rate, and these all outperform that thing, so it just overloads it. I can't get a good reading, so that's our best way to test this. Other than just my anecdotal feeling, I'll tell you that right now. Anecdotally, for me, the Vortex Haas feels the most powerful. Now, little sneak preview. From that test, it's not. It's right there, but it's not the most powerful. But that one feels the most powerful to me. And then the least powerful does feel like the Ryobi. But before I show you that test, I want to talk about the runtime of these units, because I think these are absolutely amazing for either blowing stuff around your house, just really easy, not grabbing a giant blower, right? This is just really easy handheld. But again, for car detailing, which is my specialty and what I really, really care about, I don't necessarily care about drying the entire vehicle with this. My drying method is to dry with a towel first, a twist loop drying towel, dry the vehicle, and then take one of these to go in and blow out all the tight spots, the mirrors and all that kind of stuff where you constantly get those drips. I want to use this to blow all the water out of those areas, right? Now, if your car is ceramic coated, you could definitely take this and go around the whole thing and you'll be fine. I'll actually show you some footage of the Vortex Haas in use when I was testing this one for the runtime and all that, which the runtime on this thing was absolutely fantastic. So with that said, let's talk. Right off the bat, the Vortex Haas. This was utilizing a 5 amp hour battery, okay? Now, initially when I saw these, I was thinking that the MaxShines came with a 4 amp hour battery. I was wrong, they come with 5 amp hour batteries. So all these are gonna be tested with 5 amp hour batteries, except the Ryobi, which is a 4 amp hour battery. So for the Vortex Haas runtime, this thing came in at 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Just pegged the whole time, just letting it run, not on and off, just on, ran for 12 minutes and 40 seconds, which was surprising for me because it is substantially longer than some of the other ones that I've tested in the past. One thing to note though, the only one that has a trigger lock is the Ryobi, and after a few minutes of holding the trigger back, especially with the force that comes out of this, you do get tired. So you want to be, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but a trigger lock would have been nice. But 12 minutes, 40 seconds. Next up, the MaxShine unit. Now, this thing, again, battery fully charged, Velcroed it down, and because there's no trigger lock, and let it run. This ran for 8 minutes and 42 seconds. Now, when it died, it turned itself off. At the last 30 seconds or so, you do hear it ramping down, which you do with the Vortex Haas as well. You hear at the last minute or so, the performance isn't blowing nearly as hard as it did when it was fresh. But up until that point, it's at 100%. So again, the Max Shine got 8 minutes and 42 seconds, but the battery did feel a little bit warm. So I disconnected it for a little bit, plugged it back in, and I was able to get a little bit more. But so I think you can get a little bit more if you're running it on and off of actual using time. But with that said, this is the same way we're testing all these. So 8 minutes, 42 seconds. Next up, because it's a similar design, battery system and all that, the Atoms, and this one got 9 minutes and 12 seconds. So what is that, 30 seconds difference than the Max Shine? So they're right there in the same ballpark. And finally, the Ryobi, this guy got a runtime with the battery at 4 amp hours of 10 minutes and 38 seconds. So less battery time than these two, and it did run longer, so very impressive. Now, with all that said, let's go test the performance and decibel level. How loud are these machines? Because noise can definitely be a determining factor of which unit you're gonna wanna go with. So let's do noise, and then we'll test the performance, and then I'll visit you back here in a second. All right, guys, now to test the decibel level, right, the noise level of these machines, I have a basic decibel meter on my phone here. Again, I don't know how accurate this thing is. It's not calibrated or anything like that, but it'll give us a good representation of one to the other to see which one maximizes. So even if it says, say 80 decibels, and if it was calibrated, it would be 76 decibels. Doesn't matter, we'll be able to see the difference between each unit, right? So in order to do this, I'm going to hold the blower as far away from myself as I can. I'm gonna hold the decibel meter right here, and I will let you guys know exactly what it says. Ambient noise in here is 52 decibels. Here we go. 87 decibels for the Ryobi, utilizing the 4 amp hour battery. Moving on to the Vortex House. This is with the Milwaukee battery, right? Again, they have options. You can use DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Makita batteries, depending on which one you order. Really, really cool. Let's see here. This is a 5 amp hour battery, so it's probably giving it a bit more juice, but same thing here. Here we go. So 92 decibel average there. Moving on to the Atoms blower. "100 decibels, guys. Very, very loud. Again, this thing's great. It's really loud. I'm pretty sure you guys could hear the difference between those. So that's that. And then last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and check the new Max Shine unit. And to be clear, guys, I know that these come with the different nozzles for them, but from my tests in the past and from this as well, when you add the nozzle, at least the ones that narrow it out, you actually lose performance and it gets louder. So that's why I didn't test it with the nozzle there. And just as a reminder, the Atoms 20 volt and the Max Shine 20 volt look to be the exact same thing. There's different labels on the backs and stuff, but they seem to be the exact same deal. Okay, last one up, the Max Shine. Same deal, we're at the 100. So very, very similar performance. The Max Shine and the Atoms seem to be very, very close, but with some different accessories. And we'll see if that holds up when we get into the actual airflow test. So what I'm gonna be doing for my airflow test, I have a little wind speed meter, but it maxes out and these things outperform it and it overloads it and I can't get a reading. So what I'm gonna be doing is placing a scale on the ground. I'm going to be putting a bucket on that scale. I'm gonna tear it out so it's an even zeroed out weight, and then we're going to take the same exact distance from the outlet nozzle and blow it into the bucket, and that'll give us a weight rating, and that'll give us kind of an idea of how much pressure and force is going into that bucket between all of these. All right, guys, so we are at my little shipping station for my website, dtlrsupply.com. If you haven't shopped there before, go check it out, DTLR Supply. I'll link it in the description for you guys as well. But all the orders go out either by myself, my brother, or my wife. We handle all that stuff, and we carry everything from my Quiver lineup to Geon, G-Technic, Coat Chemi, the House of Rags, Detail Co., Luminous, Yum Cars, Auto Fiber, everything you need, so go check it out. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with the Max Shine unit. This is the newest one, right? And as you can see there's my scale, here's the bucket, and here is the readout. Now we're doing it just in ounces, and you can see it is teared out, so it's showing 0. If I lift the bucket, go back, now it's reading negative, so this bucket here weighs 12 ounces. Put it back on, and we're back to 0. So, number one, the Max Shine, I'm just gonna keep the end of the nozzle flush with the top of the bucket, and here we go. So it's very hard to get an accurate reading, just because it wants to bounce around. The bucket kind of shimmies on that a little bit, but it'll get us a nice rough estimate, and I'll look through this footage as we go. Next up, let's go ahead and go to the Adams Polishes one, because again, we were getting a similar performance and noise level and all that. So let's see here, again, keeping it flush. Here we go. So it seems like slightly more out of that unit. Let's go ahead and move on to the Ryobi. Now the Ryobi is a little bit tricky because the fan for it is actually right back here. Versus these ones are like, you know, right here, and then the outlet's right there. This one, we do have the elongated tube on it, so I'm gonna keep it flush here. We'll test that, and I will kind of move it up and down to see if we can get any difference. Here we go. So it looked like it averaged out at about 22. So definitely the least amount of force in that bucket compared to the other ones. But again, it is the quietest as well, and it is super comfortable to use and all that kind of stuff, and the cheapest. So moving on to the Vortex Haas. Vortex Haas. Okay, here we go. Again with the Mac. This is the Milwaukee battery version. All right, flush at the top there. Here we go. So surprisingly to me, guys, in all honesty, this one feels the most powerful to me, but it's getting less than the Adams and the MaxShine were. It's right by where the MaxShine was, but the Adams was getting the most for sure. It's just really loud. All right, guys, so there you have it. There are the 4 different units. I talked about all the pricing, all the performance, all the noise, all that good stuff to help you hopefully make a more informed decision if you're looking at getting one of these. I know a lot of you may be saying, hey, I'm gonna stick with my Ego blower that I have, and 100%, those are incredible machines. I have 3 of the, I think it's the 765 CFM unit. I love those things, but I will say that having a handheld version is really, really nice. It's lighter on the wrist. It's easier to maneuver with. Is it as powerful as those Egos? No, but these are fantastic. Now, all of them, again, like I went through all the numbers so you guys can make a nice informed decision. My personal preference, I think between all 4 of these, I think the Ryobi's, even though it was the least powerful, noise, the comfort level, the rubberized tip, I think that would still be my #1 choice. The Vortex Haas, if you have a battery platform that you already have a ton of batteries for, it seems like that's the right choice to go with, because then you don't have to buy any other batteries. You could just get the unit, run your Makitas, Milwaukees, or DeWalt's. Fantastic, fantastic unit. Again, it feels the most powerful to me, and it was quieter than the other 2 that were like this. Not as quiet as the Ryobi, but quieter than the other 2. And last but not least, guys, I think these are both great options as well. The MaxShine one, I like the nozzle attachment that it comes with. Really, really nice. And again, it is nice rubberized grip throughout the whole thing. Feels really good, versus the Vortex Haas is just plastic, but still great option. Between these 2 though, if you're gonna run them with no nozzle, I would just go with the cheaper one, which was the Adams, especially because this, out of our test, got more performance out of it as well. But both of them, guys, you can't go wrong. These are both absolutely fantastic units. I think though, my favorite, or my #1 and #2 is gonna be the Ryobi and the Vortex Haas, in my personal opinion. That's it for today's video though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one.